Still together after all these years. It's amazing. The relationship just took off.
And our director is here. Mr. Kevin Connor, you still here? Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Oh, nice. Nice. I really wish I thought to do that instead of the suffocating pig mask. Can you, Kevin, let's start with you. Can you talk us the origins of this project? How did you get involved? And
Stroke of luck, as in this business. I went and saw an agent in Beverly Hills. I left my tape there, and I walked in, and he just walked out the door as I walked in, and he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "No, nothing's happening in this town for me." And he said, "Come in here, I'm going to get you a job." And he called up an agent, Joanne Kincaid, and said, "You got anything for a young..."
Kincaid?
I know, right?
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
And she said, "Oh, we're looking for a young director." At that time, I was quite young. And so send him over. So sent me over, and I liked From Beyond the Grave, which was my first horror film, up to UA. They saw it, and I got the job. I got given the script to take back to my apartment and with Joe, my beloved. I read the script, and it's just you'd be very interested in this one. That I opened the script, long shot, Motel Hell night, flashing O on hello, cut interior, motel room. A fat woman is in bed with a dildo and a pic. So I thought, well, this is my introduction to Hollywood. I come all this way. And so I did read the rest of it because we were short of money at the time. And the boys were very gracious and listened to my ideas of making it a black comedy. Tongue-in-cheek, but you play the whole thing straight and don't take the mickey out of the genre. So anyway, to answer that question very quickly, yes.
and for Nina and Paul, pretty much same question. How did you guys get involved with the film? Did you have to audition? Did you?
I'm not allowed to talk about how I got involved. Right, Paul?
You know, the truth is,
Kevin doesn't know.
40 years ago, when this was all happening, my wife was about pregnant, and she was about to have a home birth, and Nina was going to be the assistant. The other assistant, because I said, well, if my wife's having an assistant at the home birth, I should have an assistant. It's only fair. So my assistant was Robert Jaffe. Because Robert Jaffe and I had gone to USC together, and we've been in West Side Story together. We were both Jets, you know. So he was snowboard. But anyway, so they met at that birth.
At Jasper's birth.
At my son's birth. He's going to be 40 next month, and meanwhile, Robert felt deeply in love with Nina. I mean, over the moon. And I watched as this blossomed, and he wrote a couple of screenplays for her. And one of them was this.
Thank you, Robert.
And being such a great guy, he said to me, I would like you to come and audition for it and be put on tape. And of course, we all worked on it to try to make it the best we could so that this gentleman here would accept me as the hero, so to speak. And at the time, I was playing a cop on a television show called Chips. So this was kind of in a hiatus period. So really a high point of my life, so to speak. And anyway.
So, yeah.
That's
Don't
it.
hate me, Kevin. So Robert and Stephen, who were the writers and the producers, you know, they had a brotherly relationship. So, you know, it was kind of like on and off, you know, about everything. And so Robert was like, we can't tell anyone. We can't tell anyone that we know each other, because if we tell anyone that we know each other, then there's no way in hell you will ever get this part. So I auditioned for the part, and you didn't know this, I don't think, until now. But, yeah. So I auditioned, and I got the part, and then we pretended to fall in love, so, which we already were, so that's my story.
I knew you were a good actress. No, I didn't know. Well, yes, I did really
Did you really?
But being very smart, and first time in Hollywood, I accepted the producer's casting. So
Stephen would never have had it.
no, I won't go there. Anyway, yes.
You mentioned a very colorful opening scene that we didn't see. When making a horror comedy, one of the hardest things is finding that balance. If you go too far in either direction, the other doesn't work. For all of you, how did you guys work in your performances, making sure you didn't go too broad, or but also letting the audience know that it was okay to laugh? And for you, same thing with developing the script.
You can answer that one. Yes.
I'm gonna go to you.
As the broad character actor. No, Kevin had to keep telling me less. And it's interesting looking at it now because I can see all the places that he was correct. And, what was the question?
No, finding the balance.
But I think the key to this balance of this film, besides Kevin's taste, was Rory.
Rory.
Because you look, first of all, Rory Calhoun, an incredible gentleman. If you really watch it, and I love watching the movie because I love watching Rory, because that is such a great performance, because he totally plays it dead straight. And he was seasoned enough. That's why, one of the things, if you only know then what you know now, I'd love to go back and do my thing now because I have a whole different sense of myself. But watching him, I think he set the tone.
I just thought Rory was freaking amazing. And he was just such a sweet man, just a lovely man. He was a famous kind of cowboy actor from the old days, but he was perfect. He was just amazing.
No, the Nancy and the Rory are absolutely perfect, and they nailed it right from day one. Quite frankly, it was in the script. They didn't lead in the right direction, and once they got it, just leave them alone. Get good actors, and that's the trick.
We rehearsed. We did have some rehearsals.
Not in front of me.
As a group. We did. We had a little rehearsal.
Your memory's better.
Yeah, we actually had a chance to get together a little bit before.
Yes.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I remember very little, actually. 40 years
I
is a long
remember. It was a long time ago.
I remember a luncheon on Pico when we first got together. We had lunch in an Italian restaurant that was down below, right before you get to where 20th Century Fox comes up.
You know what I
But the
remember?
lunch, it wasn't really a rehearsal.
Well, no, but it was a lunch, and
You know what I remember?
I remember how cold the lake was.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. And I remember that both Nancy and Rory had wetsuits. And I remember that the girl who played me from a really long distance shot, who was the stunt woman, also had a wetsuit. And they had to pull her out because she got hypothermia. And then I spent the rest of the day in the water. And that's forever embedded in my mind, actually. That part I didn't lose.
Well, you were the producer's girlfriend. You had to do what you were told.
That's so true. So true.
Yeah, and well, everyone struck the right balance. It was a good mood on the set, and once you get the idea that it's got to be straight, and you don't have to take the mickey out of the piece, and just enjoy it. You can see everybody enjoyed making that movie. You can see it just had a good spirit to it.
Do you remember the bee smoke?
Yeah, well, that's the only thing I would say that I didn't enjoy about the movie was the last week. We spent 5 days in that smokehouse. And, DPs love smoke. They love that. And it's, nowadays they have smoke that's more user-friendly, so to speak. That was oil-based smoke.
It was bad.
And we were in there, you guys, all of us were in there for many, many hours. And I just remember, I don't want to get into graphic grossness, but when the week was over, it was not good. I felt like my lungs had been exposed to some
Tom
crap.
Del Ruth, though, went on to be.
Tom Del Ruth, the
Yeah,
cinematographer,
great
went
job.
on to be like a famous
Yeah, it was
cinematographer.
great.
I wish I could give you his credits, but I don't remember.
Yeah, but the smoke took away the smell of
The rotting heads. There were two real heads that were okay on Monday, but believe me, by Thursday after lunch, you didn't want to go near.
You're glad you went to smoke it, I
Rory
promise
had
you.
to put it on his head.
Oh God, that was it.
So did Rory actually do the, or was that no, I assume it was a stuntman for
Yeah,
the
Gene Harlow-
majority of the
Harlow
fight.
did-
Yes, yeah, because,
Yeah.
you know, cleverly they, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, just only when he took it out, okay.
Final speech.
Was the lake part of Sable Ranch as well? Is
It was nearby.
Yeah.
It was nearby.
How did you come across Sable Ranch? It's been used in a lot of horror movies since, but I think you guys were the first horror movie to shoot there.
Well, we Placerita Canyon. It was a ranch,
Mm.
and been used for other movies and in the whole areas from those kind of places. I guess the location guy found it, and it worked perfectly.
Paul, talk about shooting the chainsaw fight. I know you just talked a little bit about the smell, but as far as the
Well, first of all,
the
I mean,
choreography.
the chainsaw fight was really cool. Let's face it, to get to do that. And, you know, I always played comic people. I never got the girl. I mean, even here, I kind of only got the girl. But the thing is that to get to do that, to come in on that hook and everything at the end, I mean, it was really fun. But the physicality was, you need to know, obviously, that the chainsaws had the teeth removed.
Mhm.
So even though there was something spinning and they made contact and sparked, no one's going to get cut. At the same time, it was exhausting, you know, holding that thing up and fighting and trying to breathe.
And those things are heavy.
They are heavy. They are. Yeah. It's hard to be a hero. You know, you got to pay the price.
No, it was a fun. It was a rubber band going round and round. So, but no, it was quite a lively occurrence, I must say. But I loved you being on the on the railway lines going to the shore.
That's a classic.
Good fun.
It's another do-right.
Myself, I'm sure other horror fans, a lot of us know about the movie originally because of the Fangoria issue that got not pulled from circulation, but hidden from circulation because of Mr. Pighead there. Did you have any? The outroar was that the outcry was it was so violent looking and disturbing for kids. Did you have any trouble with the ratings board when you're making this? Because it's not particularly violent people, but they have they're kind of weird over there. So yeah.
As far as I know, I didn't know. I was out of my hands by then. But there's no violence in this at all. You never see the throat being cut. You never see blood. You know, you cut away the. You know,
There's just
it's what you don't see.
Yeah, Rory's the only one that really gets.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
that, but he gets that.
So they had no problem with the content or anything like that. That you
Out of
remember.
my hands by then.
Oh.
Yeah, directions.
Nina, can you talk about working with Rory? Obviously, you had a lot of scenes with him. No longer with us, of course. Any
Yeah, it was really
memories of shooting
sad
with
when he
him?
died, actually. He was such a sweet, gentle, supportive guy. It was like lovely to work with him. I always felt totally supported by him. You can't possibly say one thing about the guy that wasn't just adorable. And just looking at it now, this is the first time I've seen the movie in 40 years since the screening that we went to. He's so amazing. He just like nailed it. He was so good. He must have been so excited every time he checked the gate.
Don't say that anymore.
No, I guess not.
There's no gate. The gate's
I
gone.
know the gate died.
You know, one of the things that struck me is, as I was watching it, is how much the world has changed. Because I'm watching it, and I know it's a movie and all that, and I had this scene with this lovely lady at the drive-in, and I made a move. Well, watching myself make that move in 2020, I had a whole other feeling about what that was. And you know, we would have to really approach that completely differently now. Because with the Me Too movement, I was kind of embarrassed by that. Just watching it tonight, I thought, ooh, that's a little bit, you know.
But what about Rory, who was like 4 times my age? You know,
He kept calling her.
I mean, clearly, I don't remember this from before, but clearly Terry had an older guy thing because Bo was a much older guy, obviously. But I think that his grave said 1923. My dad was born in 1922, so like, wow. I'm
He's
sure
gonna be
there's
my
a
old man.
backstory there that, I'm not aware of.
But I think you pulled that off well, because at the end you turned on anyway, you know, you were a gold digger, but you did that beautifully, that whole relationship thing. I almost believed it again when I watched it. And it's funny seeing it again. I don't remember shooting half these scenes. It's just, what's going to happen next? Oh, yes, you did that. That's these teeth and hands are
I still say that at times. I don't know if anyone understands it, but I get a kick out of it.
I'm a big fan of, because anybody watching the movie is probably just like, well, he's his brother. How didn't he know about this? So at the very end of the movie, you're like, I left home when I was 11, Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Just in the nick of time, just wrapping that up. I like that. Do we have any questions for you guys out there for our panel update? Yeah, way in the back.
Hey, alright, that was the first time I've seen it, and I loved it, by the way. I noticed it is very tame. We kind of just talked about it. Is the violence, I expected a lot more. Was that a conscious decision or lack of money?
No, conscious decision.
Yeah.
I don't really like violence on the screen, and I think it's more effective. It's what you don't see. It's like a love scene.
Yeah.
The knife goes up, and you just start to go. You cut away to a beautiful scene. Opposites always cut away to opposites, and it's far more effective.
I agree. I felt it was definitely way more effective.
Yeah, blood and gore is kind of
shooting
easy.
out everywhere. Yeah.
It's easy to do.
We had Toby Hooper to do that back then.
Yeah, he did that really good like that.
I just want to ask Nita what she's doing today.
Well, I taught acting for a long, long time, many, many, many years, and then former actors back there. And then I started doing. I started working with young people who were, that had a hard time in life, crack babies, bullied kids. I worked with them for a while. Then I went on to drug addicts, and I was a certified, addiction counselor, and now I work with the homeless
Wow,
in
nice.
Colorado.
What do you do, Paul?
What do I do? Well, I think the biggest thing I do right now is be a grandfather.
Yeah.
I have to say, finally being a grandfather is just the most wonderful thing that's ever happened to me in my life, and I feel quite blessed. I still do theater because I love acting. I still write my one-man shows. There will be a one-man show coming called Grandfather Time, and for those of you who don't know this, and probably would be no risk for any of you to know it, I do have a piece that I would really love before you leave this mortal coil that you check out called Time Flies When You're Alive.
Oh my God, guys.
Which was on HBO in 1990
Seriously.
and was directed by Roger Spottiswoode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, another Englishman who was a fantastic director who stood up. John Bailey was the DP. Anyway,
Can I say something about
You
that?
may if you want.
You need to see Time Flies When You're Alive, because, can I say what it's about?
Amazon and iTunes.
I mean, so the wonderful woman who was my best friend who was giving birth when I met Robert, her name was Francesca Draper E. Linke, and she died very young with 3 children under the age of 6 years old, leaving Paul with 3 kids under 6 years old. And Paul produced this one-man play that was one of the most extraordinary things I've ever seen in my life, and it was funny. Also, I want you to know, it was deeply humorous and touching, and it was really, it kind of transmorphed from home birth, which both Francesca and I experienced, to home death, and it was really profound, and you guys should see it because there's nothing like it on the planet. It's really amazing.
Thank you. Anyway, I still do my theater. And if you want to put me in a movie, I'll do it.
No problem.
But I'm not chasing it because I'm too old. I don't
No
care
problem.
that much about it.
If I ever work again.
Yeah, please. I mean, that's how I feel about it.
It's as good as done.
Anyway, yeah, right there.
This is for Nina. So I know obviously this was not around the time that nudity was, I want to know how you felt about filming your areolas.
So, okay,
That's a good, that's a great
so
question.
honestly,
I'll never forget that question as long as I live.
so honestly,
That's a good
it's so interesting because I was kind of mortified by the whole thing when I saw it the first time because I was a very young actress. It was early in my career, and I was just, I felt really vulnerable around the whole thing, and it was actually really interesting. I have not seen the movie since 40 years ago,
Wow.
and now I loved it, and I loved my performance, and would that my areolas looked like that now, I would be a really happy person, but what can you do,
Yeah.
They don't look that way anymore.
Yes, I remember. It took a little while.
I was a little
For you, a little
traumatized, yeah.
traumatized, yeah.
Yeah, slightly traumatized.
And there was the actress who was completely naked at the drive-in scene.
Yes,
Yeah,
And it was cold
Yeah.
that night. And it was late. You don't see that. But it was cold and late. This poor girl was running around. That was,
Yeah, but it's all very brief. It's in the way it's done. I think it was.
No, it's kind of
Tasteful.
awesome that your beauty and your areolas are.
We'll live on. We'll live on.
Will live on
Preserved forever,
forever.
yeah.
Great.
Well.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Kevin, if you were given a chance to do this movie again, what would you do?
Well, I wouldn't do
If
it.
you got to, you wouldn't.
No, I mean, that's can you do a film you've done in your lifetime? It's a bit. I don't know.
All right. So another question is, if you were given more money for that film, what would you have added? Because I know money plays a big.
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what I'd do.
I don't
I think
remember
it was like a $3 million.
You could pocket
You
it.
know, it's quite a fair budget.
Yeah.
You know, for this kind of movies in those days.
Yeah.
I have to think about that. I mean, it was a great score. It was the actors
Yeah.
were great, and we didn't have to have big names in it. And
Did you guys eat the
know,
beef?
It would have been a different
Did you guys
movie,
have-
you know.
I mean, yeah.
And if it had been more money, they would have wanted more gore. They would have,
True.
It would not
True,
been the
yeah,
film.
that's-
But don't you think it held up really well?
I'm amazed. What I liked about it was it's a movie.
Mhm.
You told a story.
Yes.
And it didn't have to be like this.
Exactly.
It wasn't like it was like, that's why I say it's so different in the ethos of today to watch something that was done 40 years ago. It has a whole different resonance. There were scenes. There was actual dialogue. It had a pace that was just sort of true, and it unfolded, and it wasn't like, bang, 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 I really appreciate that.
Yeah, well, it drives me crazy. I watch films today, and they have a beautiful shot, and they pan across, and they cut just as it's getting interesting.
Right.
I don't know. It's like you're not allowed to see any more of this beautiful shot. Why not enjoy it just for one more second? Or 5 more frames. Or something,
I thought watching it today, though, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious
It
and
is.
not horribly. I mean, it was dated, but in a good way.
It was a
You know?
well, I tried to make it classic setups. So.
I do have one thing to say about that.
So you know how movies like a lot of my kids are really into Rocky Horror, and I'm sure that they didn't make Rocky Horror to become a cult movie. So Stephen and Robert, they wrote this movie to become a cult movie.
Mhm.
That was their intention. They was like, let's make a movie and turn it into a cult movie. So mission accomplished, I think.
It was very good.
Very good, yeah.
The writing was very tight.
Well done.
Things paid off. Little things were. What? By the way, I had a question. What? I can't remember when I'm there examining the water, and we see that shot goes pans over to the other car, and then something popped out.
It was a bomb.
Oh.
It was a bomb.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, okay.
I'm surprised you didn't.
Well,
It was
They
yours
had
anyway.
bombs. They had
Nowadays, you
bombs
can't
back
even get a bong. It's so strong, you don't even need a bong. Just walk by the neighborhoods.
Got time for one more? Yeah.
I mean, kind of already answered my question, but looking back 40 years, did you guys expect this to become such an iconic classic film?
I didn't, that's for sure.
No way.
Absolutely. You don't make a movie, well, you do it to, this is a fun
It's an
script,
opportunity,
and
it's a
you
chance.
get a
Yeah.
foothold in
in.
Hollywood.
Plus, you don't expect to live for another 40 years. So there's that.
Over and over.
No, but I was really pleasantly surprised how well it held up.
I only have one last little story to tell, which is in the New York Times. I love this. One of my favorite things about the whole experience. When the review came out of the New York Times, they said of me, and this is a quote, they called me, quote, somewhat sexy. That basically means if you're breathing.
Well, we can't top that anyway, so let's, ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause. Paul, Nina, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you all for sticking around for our 40th anniversary screening in Motel Hell. You guys enjoy that?
Yeah.
I will die before I finish giving out the Blu-rays. As always, our good friends at Horror Pack have donated some great Blu-rays for us to give out for trivia. So I hope you guys know your stuff. The movie is shot at Sable Ranch, which kind of became like a famous horror spot. Anybody know another horror movie that was shot there? See a hand back there, yeah? Devil's Rejects was shot there, correct. You will win. I'm dreaming of a white doomsday. I don't know what this is. You'll have to tell me what this is. It looks like a horror fireplace. I don't know. Enjoy. I've never heard of it. What they say in the movie, but for those who were paying attention, what was the name of the movie that they were showing at the drive-in? Anybody remember?
Monster Takes the World.
You had to raise your hand. You had to raise your hand.
Monster versus the World.
Monster versus the World, yeah. Close enough? Yeah, Monster Challenge the World. All right. You win a copy of Fail, which is a Screamfest movie, and a really good one.
Jeopardy, they wouldn't give it to him.
I'm not as good as Rebecca, let's say. The producers of the movie and the writers, the Jaffe brothers, they went on to work on a pretty famous and beloved vampire movie in 1987. Anybody know that movie?
Fright Night. Nope.
You already won something. Raise your hand. Anybody?
No, I was right.
No?
I'm cheating.
1987?
Fright Night.
No.
Near dark?
Near Dark, correct. You win a copy of Echoes of Fear.
You directed it?
Sure.
Catherine Bigelow.
Who directed that movie?
Who directed what movie?
Near Dark.
Near Dark? Oh, a trivia question?
Yep.
Sure, why not? Who directed Near Dark?
Catherine Bigelow.
Catherine Bigelow, correct. Thank you. From Nina. You have a copy of Exorcist II: The Heretic. One of the finest horror films ever made.
That movie.
One of the band members, the drummer, I believe, was Mr. John Ratzenberger, who, of course, you probably all know from Cheers. He's in every Pixar movie, which is kind of funny because he doesn't speak in this. So to go, he appeared in another horror comedy in the 80s. Anybody know that one?
Hell's 2?
You already won something.
Oh.
You're correct. So pick somebody to win.
Whoever raises their hand right now.
I don't know what
I got it. So that hand first. All right. You get Dolph Lundgren in Shark Lake. You can trade if you want.
Holy shit.
It's Dolph Lundgren sort of fighting a shark.
I'm in.
Roy Calhoun, of course, played Farmer Vincent. He actually made his last appearance in a horror project as a famous horror TV show. Anybody guess what that might have been?
Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Nope, he wasn't that. That was not his last one. Anyone else? It was on HBO. In the back.
Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt, sir. Yes, you win another shark movie. A little bit better, though. It doesn't have Dolph, but it's much better. The Reef.
That's
Enjoy.
I've seen that one.
Good
times with Sean.
Relative.
Yeah.
One left. All right.
100% more Dolph.
No one's gonna know that. No one's gonna know that. No one's gonna know that. Sorry, I had tough questions.
You don't know.
All right, I will get it. At one point, and maybe we can clear this up. The rumor is Tobe Hooper was attached to this movie before our director came on for Universal when it was set up there. Tobe and Universal ended up making a different horror movie. Anybody know what that would be? So your hand. Yep.
Texas Chainsaw.
No, that was earlier. Yep. Oh, you won something already. Somebody hasn't won yet. You.
Life Force.
Nope, not Life Force.
Poltergeist.
Not Poltergeist. Not eating allowed. Funhouse, correct. You win a copy of Victor Crowley, aka Hatchet 4. Enjoy. Come on down and get it. Who got 3? Oh, you got 3. There you go.
Thanks a lot.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
All right, that's it. That's all the movies I got. Let's start our Q&A, folks. Our heroes of the movie. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Paul Linke and Axelrod.
Yeah.